once again, if you live in areas like Grand Eddy, Minfro in 14 minutes. Grand Eddy. North of Crosstown, south of Balik, Menfro, Point Rest, Cora, Jones Ridge, Rattle, along this river, the Missouri River or Ohio Valley River, and the Missouri River. I would be watching this. Wow. It looks like it's trying to do it right here. I mean, it looks like it's trying to do it. But thankfully, nothing's going to happen. There is some suspicion of maybe some sort of rotation, but it's just kind of actually a week. So there actually is no broad rotation. If there was any, it was definitely lopsided. Yeah, every word today should be just mainly wind driven, and we actually still, really, it's still at 85 miles per hour. And here's an update on Ernesto. Ernesto is looking very weak. No, it's not. I mean, as in its future, we did expect a Category 3, but now it's going to be a Category 2, which is still strong. It still could be a hurricane for a while. So, you know. But it's been at 85 miles per hour for a while. It's still intensifying as in pressure, but I mean, it's been 85 miles per hour for a while. This thing is just not strengthening, and at least in wind speed intensity since last night, which is kind of expected a little bit because it's in a neutral zone environment, which means it's in a kind of a zone where it's not going to be intensifying as much, but at a slow rate, or it just does not intensify at all and just stalls out. I think we're in the middle ground of those two. If you know, I mean, the neutral zone is the middle ground for intensification. So we're in the, I think Ernesto's in the middle ground, where it's like it's intensifying slowly in pressure, but it's just stalling out in wind speeds. Which is good news if we live in Bermuda, but we still expect at least for there to be a 110 mile per hour wind Category 2. But then it's just going to, Bermuda might get a Category 2 hurricane. Or it may get a 90 mile an hour Category 1. But still should be a hurricane for Bermuda, and we will watch that. Man, I'm actually still kind of surprised that Ernesto's not doing anything too important right now. Once again, that is a good thing, not a bad thing. Tidbits. I'm gonna show you current satellite loop. I mean, I could pull it up on Radar Omega, but I kind of want to stay on this thing right here. Hold on, this thing is like its structure is being very good. Very surprised there's not actually some rotation. But anyways, here is current satellite imagery of Ernesto. This is on Tropical Tidbits. So Ernesto, it's trying to form an eye. It's really trying to form an eye, but we are getting some. You can see if you focus right here, there is some shear and drier air also happening over here. That's actually getting very near the center. And it is sinking its way into the center. You can clearly see that little trail. We're having convective bursts that will eventually clear this out. But I've been saying this like in Facebook. We need this storm needs more convection here, but we're not getting any sort of convection. We need a new convective burst here, 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 just everywhere in this area. Especially on this flank of the storm. Especially on the southeast flank of the storm, it definitely needs the right side. The center somewhere right here. Just the right side of this thing. The right side of this thing just needs more convection. Badly. But it does look really strong. I'm surprised that it's not a category 2 right now. It should be. I mean, they're finding around. They actually found around. This is weird. Actually, no shot. I do not have a calculator on here. Recount data shows it between like 83 knots. Like 83 knots. Okay. Can you have a Google? Hold on. Okay. Calculator. Thank you. So we have, once again, 83 knots. And then we're going to translate this to miles per hour, which, where's the multiplication symbol? So that's 95 miles per hour. It's a 95 mile per hour storm, guys. It's 95 miles per hour. It's a category. It's on the brink of being a category 2. It's 95 miles per hour. We can actually, if you round, it's a 96 mile per hour storm, which the Hurricane Center does round, so they'll put it at a. This storm should be a 95 mile per hour storm. I mean, it could be found at flight level, but if you if you look, here's where it's 83. There's a lot of these. This is in this kind of color right here. That color. Focus on that color. There is a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And there's not a lot of 90s. There's a lot of 90s as well. It'll more likely get upgraded to 90. We're having a lot of 83 knots. We're having a lot of 95 mile per hour knots. More likely at flight level, but so much of that should be translated to sustained winds. So even before, even before we, even before, even before, even before we had 95 miles per hour, even before. How was this not finished? Finished. En route. I'm kind of surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised that we do not have a 95 mile per hour storm. At least a bare minimum 90 mile per hour category 1. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's over here. It's mainly going to be hail and wind. I will look at velocities. Hail and wind, that's really it. There is some kind of, maybe a little bit of rotation, but that's just because of the supercellular feature. And that is mainly because of the supercellular feature. Let me just clarify this, just to be sure. Yeah, it's a hail. It's just because of the supercellular feature. Yeah, a bit of surprise from the Hurricane Center. Does this thing try to form an eye? Oh my, yeah, look right here. This is actually pretty bad. If you look, just look right here in this area. Look right there. That's not good. That's actually not good. This kind of thing, that's en route to the eye. That's after that dry air is building up. There is new convection though, so maybe. But there is no new convection on this side of the storm. On the on the east side of the storm. So the west side of the storm. So I don't know what's going on with it. I think it is just because it actually might be moving into that unfavorable environment because that area of neutral zone to a unfavorable zone where it's going to be not intensifying at all, maybe weakening. It was very short, but we did expect it for that to grow, that neutral zone to grow. So we'll be seeing the neutral zone for a little bit more. But if this storm sped up, if this storm actually sped up to where it's now in that unfavorable environment zone, then we actually might be, we could be in a great state. So, oh, it slowed down even more. So it did slow down even more. So it's slowing down. But it still could be fast enough to where maybe it actually did enter that unfavorable environment. Which, if it did, then Ernesto might not be strengthening, at least in wind speed anymore. But it should. But then again, these were part of the outer band. These were part of the outer band. But it is at least like 64 knots, 73 miles per hour. So yeah, we're at least to. Yeah, we're at least at 90 miles per hour. We should be at a 95 mile per hour category 1 hurricane, but we have yet to reach that status. So it's been saying 95 mile. It's been saying those knots to 95 mile per hour for at least 2 missions. And those missions are finished, by the way. Yeah, hurricane hunters. And we could be seeing an uptick in rotation again on the storm. That's literally right now east of Grand Eddy going into Jacob or Gorham into Illinois. Could be trying again. But it's very broad. That rotation is very broad. I'll show you where it is. I'll zoom in more so you can see these areas better. This is going into Illinois. Here's the border between Illinois and Missouri. Currently in Missouri right now. It's just now into Illinois. And here's that little area of rotation. It lines up a little bit. I'm a little bit suspicious about it, but it might be maybe some sort of yeah. But once again, it is going into this area right towards really right towards Sand Ridge and Murfreesboro and Carbondale, Illinois. Maybe even areas just south of it. If I'm in these areas, I'm watching this. Not just for a potential. So actually, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and we have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So it's a it's a really good. It's a really severe thunderstorm. It's considerable. So we actually have 60-mile-an-hour winds. We have golf ball size hail being thrown at 60-mile-an-hour winds. So and we are getting more cells developing. We do have something in Kansas City. Sorry, just north of Kansas City. Is the Kansas City radar on? No, that sucks. Actually, that actually very sucks. I wish the Kansas City radar was on. We would have seen this much better. We're kind of in a radar hole. I'll be honest. But we do have just a regular strong thunderstorm going on. We can't really see it well. There is no rotation with this, just a strong thunderstorm. I would not be surprised if we get a severe thunderstorm with it for mainly wind and maybe some small hail. Mostly wind. It's mostly wind today, guys. With that threat, today's threat goes wind, hail, tornado. That's today's threat. And that tornado part is that only exists somewhere here. That tornadic part only exists somewhere here. So today's threat for everywhere is mainly wind. Everywhere is mainly wind and hail. Everywhere is mainly wind and hail. But there is an area of tornadoes today, potentially, and that is only centralized in this area. So if you're in this green area, you have all threats for severe weather, mainly wind, followed by hail, then tornadoes at a very low potential. All right, good talk. Would not be concerned. If you're in the tornado risk, just make sure you have ways to receive alerts and just weather stuff like that. Just make sure. I will not be stressing about this. I'm not going to be too concerned. Just just be prepared, not scared. Like Ryan Hall says, be prepared, but do not be scared. That's very real. Just be prepared. Don't be scared, especially since it's a very low risk. Not a very low risk, but it is a 2%. So imagine just 2% out of 100. So with the SPC, it's 2% out of 60. So we're at a 2% risk out of 60. So just mind you. So yeah, since it is a large area, the risk is kind of been more quote unquote bigger. Not including like the potential, which is 2%, but since there's a huge 2% risk with a lot of people in it, it's kind of a big deal since not really a big deal, but it's kind of like a, not really a big risk, but it's also a big risk. Also, if this still is a hurricane by Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, St. John's, I will still have. There is some radars over here, so I'll be watching that. So, next live stream is hurricane coverage. Either that's a Category 2 or a Category 1 hurricane. For Bermuda, I do have a radar in Bermuda. I actually wonder what it looks like right now. If you want to know where that radar is, if you go to Bermuda Live Radar. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like Bermuda.com. Okay, no, there is actually a site. Yeah, there is actually a site. Hold on. I do have the site. I do have the site. One second, let me look at my phone. For that site name. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, yeah, I know what it is. If you guys, so all you have to do, go in your search bar, put in weather.bm, Bermuda Weather Service. Now where is the radar? Hurricane warning. So when you go over here, you're going to go to graphics, I believe. Go to graphics for weather.bm. When you're at this page, you're going to go to graphics. And you're going to go to, you can either click satellite or radar. I'm going to click radar. Click the 250, not the 100. So this is what Bermuda looks like right now, guys. That's some brand. I think this is outer band. Wait, would it be outer band? Oh, but there are some storms. I don't know if this is part of Ernesto or not. Yeah, Ernesto is somewhere. Once again, as of 50 minutes ago, the center is somewhere. Center is somewhere located here. And outer bands usually reach this far or maybe this far out. So I don't think this is outer band. Yeah, I don't think this is any kind of outer band thing. 1 second, maybe I'm wrong. Satellite imagery, Hurricane Ernesto. I just need to see if Bermuda's in that. I cannot tell. That actually might be part of Ernesto. Ernesto. The hurricane in the Atlantic. Okay, where's Bermuda? I actually think this. Okay, so it is actually outer bands. So we are actually seeing outer bands. So we actually are seeing impacts. We are seeing some impacts in Bermuda, mainly outer bands. That's just to the southeast. That's the south and east of Bermuda. It's actually at 500 kilometers. So you actually can click 500 if you want. Sadly, I do not think this site has velocity. Sadly. Very sadly. Yeah. But yeah, so this is Bermuda right now. It's been going on, just some rain. This is what's happening outside of Bermuda. We are getting some rain bands. These kind of rain band things. The strongest rain bands are going to be going into the northeastern parts that's south of Bermuda. So Bermuda will not get those rain bands. I really wish there was a Doppler radar, meaning that there was multiple things that's just not like rain, like not reflectivity, but like velocity. Let's do a pull radar. I wish there was dual polarization radar. We actually can look at the skew T's. 1 second. Yeah, we actually can look at that. I wonder what the skew T says. This is the current environment in Bermuda. Let's go to loop. Anyways, although what is good is that we actually can zoom in. That's a good thing. We actually can zoom in on this. So we can zoom in. This is as far as we can zoom in. This is where Bermuda is. This is a little bit zoomed in. So a little bit zoomed in, zoomed out a little bit more. This is the max zoomed out. When the hurricane is near, we'll probably look at max zoomed out, and if it's near Bermuda, we will go more, like see a bit better. More imagery. Echo tops radar velocity. So there. Oh, it sucks. So there is velocity. There is velocity. So we are good, chat. Chat, we are good. We have velocity and everything. We do have velocities, so we will be able to see if there is any rotation or any water spouts, which right now there's not. There's not any right now. But thank God there is velocities. I'm happy about that. Yeah, once again, I'm just going to do this. If you want to stay updated on Bermuda, all you have to do is do weather.bm. If you spell it right, then on the top, if you see this area where it says graphics, you are going to click graphics. Click graphics. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click radar. Click radar. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click the first one right here. Then what you're going to do is this gets a bit more hard. Where it says radar, you're going to click more imagery. Or you cannot. It depends. But usually I'll click more imagery. So here is your products. So right here is your radar products. The bigger the number, the more zoomed out there. The more zoomed out this radar is. Here is below echo tops, here's your cloud type. Here's your precipitation accumulation. And right here, which is I think this part is the most useful. The most useful is the radar coverage. But the second most useful is we have velocity. And obviously the bigger the number, the more zoomed out you are. I think the velocities is the second biggest thing we can bring to the table. First one is obviously radar. The second one is velocities. Granted, the velocities color table is a bit whack. I'll be honest. It's a bit whack. It does not look like velocities really, but it works the same way as if you're looking at radar scope or any other kind of radar. Works the same way. I believe it's that when the kind of bit lighter green colors, I believe. Either darker or lighter green colors mixed with the either darker or greater red colors, or just yellowish colors. We'll find out later when it's more closer. The hurricane gets we'll get more tropical tornadoes. Oh, like right here, maybe. Maybe I don't know. That might be contamination, but there could be maybe a tornado right here. But yes. So I will be watching that. Is there any tornado warnings? Anything that I missed? Did I miss anything? A lot of our storm chasers are going here, so I'm wondering why. Why is our storm chasers en route here? Yeah, this is mainly wind. I don't know, we might see maybe some very broad rotations somewhere over here, but it's way too far. We're in a radar hole, so we will not be able to tell. So it is some sad news. Wait, we've been streaming for at least 1 hour, so I think I'm gonna call it here. We'll look actually before we go. Let's look at the new HRRR model. Alright, 20Z. So this is what's gonna be happening tonight across the United States of America. So obviously, around 7 p.m., we're going to get some supercells activating. Yeah, around 7 p.m., we'll get this party started with some supercells activating. Over here and over here, when they are discrete, this is where we will see this risk for severe illness. So this is in an hour, basically, in an hour. Then the threat kind of grows at 4 p.m. Here we go, even more cells. Look over here in Grand Rapids, so Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, even more supercells. Then I think around 11 and 10 p.m., this is when the tornado risk kind of slows down. Everything becomes a bit more linear. You may have to watch out somewhere in Oklahoma for maybe a later time severe weather risk. Once again, tornado risk, I'm going to say this is personally my tornado risk for today. I mean, this one person said are saying we can get tornadoes up until here, which we might, but I think everything after 11, 12 p.m. is going to become a bit more linear. We may get some more supercell activation over here that may cause some tornadoes, but we will have to see. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Yeah, that's it. Okay.